The enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Einstein can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
The art of fighting without fighting? Tell me some of it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Box State Boys podcast. I am your host, Steven Zamora. You can follow me on Twitter at ZamoraBSB. I am joined, as always, by my cohorts, my companions, my co-host, Oso at Osman_BSB, and your boy at King Sanchez 70. And for today, we're going to be speaking about this historic, beautiful Denver Nuggets run. And there's nobody better to discuss that with than the homies, the frontline Twitter soldiers of the Denver Nuggets. My boy Wade at its_Wade on Twitter, and Steven Reinert. And yeah, follow him. Steven Reinert, what, 12 or something like that?
2. I think it's 2.
Steven Reinert 2, huh? Yeah,
yep.
That's Steven Reinert 2 on Twitter. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're here to talk about the Nuggets today because we're all Nuggets fans. We all we just adore this team. This is the best team in the world. Watched them my whole life. I'm pretty sure
even
you
in
guys
the bad
watched them
days.
most of your lives. Yep, even in the bad
the free
days.
ticket days.
The free ticket days, man. In the
when Nene was Nene Hilario.
Yeah. Are you from Denver too, Steven?
Yeah, I'm from Denver. Yep, Wheat Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, you know, huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
Been around.
Terrible days. They would give tickets out at schools for kids to go to the Nuggets games because they were so terrible. Nobody would go, and I would throw those tickets away because they didn't want to go.
I would just leave them. I wouldn't even take them. Like, oh shit!
I was just spending time to watch.
Can I get an extra milk?
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. I wanted to get some quick questions in. Get the folks a little bit of background on you. You know, let people know who you are, why you enjoy the Nuggets, and stuff like that. I'll start it off. Quick question, just to get you going. Are there any other teams you guys root for, or players that you root for, and why?
Okay. Ironically enough, Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite players to watch. Followed him all for the last few years. He's one of my favorite players. I have a funny agenda to push at him being a top 5 player in basketball. Didn't look too good in that Celtics series, but Jimmy's one. Damian Lillard's another. I love watching Stephen Curry. Growing up, Allen Iverson was one of my favorite players to watch. Yeah. Big Vince Carter guy. I think that'll round it out there for me.
That's crazy. Jimmy Buckets reminds me of AI, man, of old AI when he took the 76ers to the finals that year. That's relentless. What this reminds me of.
Yeah, he just won't take no for an answer.
What about you, dude?
I'm more a fan of players than any other teams, but I like Jimmy Buckets as well. Dame was obviously I pulled for Portland in our down years. That was my team to root for when we sucked. Growing up, I think my guy was Tim Duncan. Loved watching him.
Fundamental.
Yep.
Oh, so that's why you love Jokic so much, huh?
Dude, it was like the greatest thing ever, man. Going from Timmy D to Yo.
Tim Duncan.
Yep.
That's crazy. Oh, yeah, that's cool. How about you guys? You guys got any questions for him?
What are you guys thinking about the playoffs so far? You guys enjoying the ride? It's been amazing, man. Surreal for me, anyway. But how you guys feeling about it?
For me, it's great that the Nuggets are in the finals. Like that's the best case scenario as a Nuggets fan. But the fact that going into this postseason, nobody really knew who would come out on top or who would get to this point. And like that's been the most exciting thing for me. Which in previous years, as we know, Golden State, Cleveland, LeBron kind of dominating the last 5-6 years. It's a nice change of pace this year. So I kind of, like going into every game, not knowing what the result would be, not knowing who's going to win, lower seeds beating higher seeds. Like it's been
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a fun run for me.
So do you think it's like a changing of the guard right now? Do you think the Nuggets are now the team to beat, going forward, not just this year, but going forward?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's open this year, and this is a chance to, for that next team or next set of players to claim it. And I think that's Denver.
They're going to be the team to watch, and going to be the team to beat next year, probably.
For sure.
It's crazy how the national media, how their perspective is changing right before our eyes. You know what I mean? Like, even a month ago, no one was talking about Jokic. No one was talking about the Nuggets. You know what I mean? Even before game one, even Kendrick Perkins was talking about how, Miami's going to come out here and, do what they, been doing to everyone, to us. And it's just crazy that now, we're finally getting respect, man. It took years, 2 MVPs, and we're finally getting respect.
Yeah, for real, man.
Even the 2 MVPs didn't do it. It requires some postseason success.
Yeah,
right. Definitely.
Finals MVP and stuff, man. Who do you guys think has like the worst takes? Like, who is the worst media guy? Or girl?
That's
a
loaded question. I mean, there's so many to choose from. Off the top of my head, I mean, just off of what he did to the MVP race, I'm going Kendrick Perkins. And when he picked the Heat in Game 1, I have never felt so sure that the Nuggets would come out and take it at that point. I was like, cool. So, Kendrick Perkins, he has it for me. I can't stand him.
Bro, what about Mark Jackson, bro? Oh my God. I can't believe they let that guy
Ooh.
commentate, especially Nuggets games.
Yeah,
he's
finals.
unbearable.
He didn't even have Jokic in his top 5 of MVP voting. Like, are you serious, bro?
Yeah,
that
like
is ridiculous.
He didn't know how to vote. Like, his apology was just like, yo, like how do you not know? Like, if I submit my vote for MVP and then I get to All NBA and start to realize that I wasn't doing All NBA just 2 minutes ago, I would go back and adjust what I'm doing for the MVP vote. Like, he had like so Donovan ridiculous. Mitchell or Shea or somebody on there. I'm like, what is that?
They should pull his vote right there, man. I would have pulled his vote right then and there. Like,
you obviously don't even know how to read the criteria.
Exactly.
Getting to vote for.
It's a bad year.
What
did
he say?
And a bad year for the.
He just voted for like positions or something. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he voted for the
center. Yeah, he just went 1 through 5.
Weird. He's voted before though. That's the thing. It's like, you've done this before. That this is your first mistake. Like, usually you make the mistake the first time. So.
I mean, look at all the disrespect the Nuggets have. Like, even in the All-Star game, how Jokic got picked like second to last, and LeBron didn't even pronounce his name right. Like,
yeah,
it's time for us to rectify all that, man.
Yeah, it's crazy that this dude won 2 MVPs. He's going to the finals. He's like one of the best players in the world, and like half the people that like talk about him don't know how to say his name. Like, still don't know how to say his name.
Yeah,
Djokovic. What is this? Like his 8th year? Yeah, Djokovic. You guys are adding extra letters and all this fucking kinds of craziness.
Making it harder.
That's like how you don't watch a game, because like these guys are announcing his name every goddamn possession.
Hey, I got a question. What do you guys feel about Bones getting a ring this year?
That's a good question.
You want to take that one, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care if he gets a ring or not. Like, it is what it is. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me either way.
Yeah, somebody posted whichever game he kind of won at least the first half against Golden State, and I think they pulled that game out in the playoffs last year. He scored like 14 points in the first half. Like, I saw that like 2 or 3 days ago on the timeline, and then it's kind of just, it ended poorly, but like the moments that he gave us towards the end of last year, and even at the start of this season before, the defense started to give up a little bit, and then he got very inconsistent on offense. But the positive moments are great. And he was a Denver person. Like, he accepted the organization, the people. He was doing stuff on his own. So like, I'm okay with it. I was a little sour when it happened. I got a few tweets off at that point, but in hindsight, I feel good about it.
Like I was actually kind of not upset. Like I really like Bones Highland, especially like
Yeah.
after everything you said about last year. Like I thought he had like big potential, but now you just know in hindsight, and even kind of like how the whole everything went down during that time, I kind of
Right.
realized that he did not fit what this team was about. You know what I mean? He was all about Bones. He wasn't about the Nuggets, and everyone on the Nuggets is about the Nuggets. You know what I
Right.
mean? He was kind of the outlier in that regard. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that he's gonna have a ring.
Yeah.
You got any questions, Jakey?
No, not really.
He's just there for the ride.
Yeah.
My man is chilling.
He got
Oh man.
that influence, that Mary Jane influence in him.
Yeah.
That's
He's seeing green a little bit, you know what I mean?
yeah. You see those lights, man? Those are green.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
I got one though. I got one. So I mean, you guys been along for the ride the whole time, so you know. You guys remember when Jokic was drafted? Were you
Yeah,
guys, like, keeping close touch with
yeah. I
that?
watched it happen.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't watch
yeah.
the second fucking
My
round of that. I didn't
buddy
watch the second round
fucking
in the draft.
because we got Nurk in that draft. We got Nurk and Gary
Yeah.
Harris in that draft too, and my buddy was pissed that we got 2 Europeans again. Was heated. He was so mad, man. Shit is so funny.
Did you
That
see that
is
story
crazy.
about Joffrey Laverne? Like how that helped with Jokic getting here and stuff? That, like
Hmm.
Yeah.
they treated Joffrey Laverne when we got him because they Euro stashed him, right? And they just like kept up with him the whole time. They kept going and checking on him and like seeing if he needed anything because they were like they really liked him. And I guess like because of how they treated him so well, like it helped with Jokic coming over. I guess he was going to pull out of the draft, and they went and told him like, "We'll draft you. We want to take you and stuff." And he was like, "All right." So he stood in the draft and we took him.
It's so crazy how it happened, huh?
Yeah,
Fairy
that's
tale
crazy.
story, man.
Hey, man, you
Like I was
create your
actually
own
mad when
luck.
we got rid of Nurkic. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, treat people
But yeah, I was
right.
kind
You
of
know, you do
upset.
the right thing.
Like, I was upset when we got rid of Nurkic, bro. Like I was like, why would we trade Nurkic and keep Jokic? You know what I mean? But you know, I mean, obviously I'm not a NBA
You
fan
didn't
for
see
a
the
reason.
vision.
Yeah, I didn't. Because like Nurkic is like he's your typical, you know, big man center, you know, play some good defense, you know, rebound, you know, little inside game. And then Jokic, you know, we didn't see too much of him at that time, but you know, I'm glad we
Broke
kept
the
him.
mold, man. You know? He
Yeah,
broke the
for
mold.
real.
Yeah. He's so
It's hard to
reserved.
see
real,
stuff
for real.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, I remember thinking when we were young or younger, like when we would talk about Jokic, and we were like, you know, how do you build around this dude, you know? And I was like, I don't fucking know. Like honestly, like I've never seen a center like this. I didn't think it was like I personally didn't think it was really possible. I was like, it's fun. I just don't know if you can actually win with this dude, you know? But yeah, man. Now you look at it and it's like you could put anything you want around this motherfucker, man. You could put like anything. You could put any type of player.
Yeah,
So crazy, man.
he's definitely got a lot of. He got Gary Harris paid.
Yep.
You know, he got Will Barton paid, and like it's funny seeing players leave Denver and go to another franchise, and the fan base are just like upset at the player. And I'm like, like that's kind of who that player is. He's just not on the floor with Nikola Jokic. That's
Yeah.
the difference. You know, it's kind of like the Warriors. Like when Steph's on the floor, of course, they're getting shots that they never, you know, seen before because he's attracting so much attention. When you take him
Yeah.
off the floor, they fall apart because now they have to actually work for everything, and he's not doing all the dirty work for him. So, like Jokic just has that generational impact. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, me and Zamora were talking about this. Like, I was telling him because I kind of asked him, and and you guys, you know, we could talk about this in a little bit too. But like, how do you stop Jokic? Like, if you could drop a scheme with any players, like, what would stop Jokic? Like, I was telling Zamora that I personally don't like. There's not enough like players playing at one time. Like, you need 6 or 7 guys to be able to stop what Jokic could do. Because you can't just double team him and leave someone open because that's easy buckets. You know what I mean? Like,
And
how do you
gotta
stop
have,
him?
like your whole starting lineup has to be like at least 6'9" to like
Yeah.
I
even.
mean, Toronto always gave us trouble just because they were long as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
And
Yep.
Anobi, he's I mean quietly is probably the best player I've seen defend Jokic. Like,
Yeah.
because he's a bull. He's so strong.
Yeah.
So he can guard Jokic 1-on-1 and then or front him and then make them throw it over. So Toronto's defensive scheme was pretty effective, but they're an
Yeah.
Eastern Conference team, so Jokic didn't really care for those games at the same time. So you kind of have to like, how much
Yeah.
can you take from this? Because Jokic on the East Coast, me going to all the Magic games, he just doesn't care. And I still go to the games, but he's not as locked in as like when he's going against the Portland or the Minnesota, like teams he
Yeah.
knows that he has to figure out or see what works for him.
Yeah.
But I really like the way Toronto defends him. But he tried it with fronting with Bam and having someone, wait on the backside, but they're just so small, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Bam's
Yeah.
not anywhere near big enough. He's giving up like 50 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Just ain't gonna
Yeah.
I mean,
work.
even someone like Draymond. I mean, Draymond had success against Jokic in the past, but you need someone
Eh.
who's you
Yeah, he
can't
has
be
success
you,
for 3
you have to have
games.
lateral
Yeah.
movement.
He did better
Yeah.
than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, no
another
one has
thing.
success against Jokic, but
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing is with Golden State, their success last year, and I don't think Denver lost because of the defense. Like, of course, putting Jokic in the pick and roll, like, yeah, it'll work. But Denver couldn't go down and score at the other end. Jokic had to do everything. He put up 30 a night, and
everything.
he was gassed by the end of the game. And then you got Steph Curry coming off screens. It's going to look worse than it is. So you kind of have to have it work on both ends to be successful against Jokic, but you kind of have to hope that his firepower on offense isn't working for him at the same time, because if he can reserve his energy and just hit guys like he did in game 1 against Miami, and then have his energy to just put up 7 shots in the fourth and make 6 of them just to put the
Yeah.
game away, like that's just a recipe for disaster for the opponent. But if you got a high-powered offense with a guy like Draymond or OG on the other end, and you can throw different looks at him, I think that'd be the method there. But the two bigs thing, like Minnesota, it's not going to work. Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. Bam, it's not going to work.
It almost seems like he like the smaller guys have a little more success on him too. Like the big guys,
Quick-footed
for some
guys.
reason, he just doesn't. Yeah, and
Mhm.
like how they say, like the little guys, they get away with a lot more because of the size difference. The refs will let them, bully a little bit. They'll let them throw elbows and shit like that, get some dirty stuff in or whatever.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like they have a little more success.
That and a lower center of gravity helps a lot, keeping a big
Yeah.
guy from backing you down.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very true.
It worked for LeBron, and he's LeBron, so they wouldn't call anything that he was doing to Jokic in that last series. He was giving him elbows and everything.
I like how what do you call it though? Like they got Jokic on that what was it, charge, and then like the next play down, they got
him
LeBron
back.
on it, like right back, and
Yeah.
Jokic just kind of looked at him, and I was like, hell yeah, tell that motherfucker, dude, like you get those calls now too, bro.
Yeah.
It's not just LeBron's series no more, bro. This is your league now too.
I mean, he was even Jokic was getting some good calls, some superstar calls in game 1 too.
Yeah.
And, against the Heat, there's some calls I was like, okay, there you go. Get some LeBron calls, 2-time MVP calls right there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Long
One of the
overdue.
best in the league, man. I got one here that's kind of interesting. It might be another loaded one, but I'll start with you, Steven. Let's see what you got to say, man. Which fan base do you hate the most? And if this went viral on that team's socials, what is something you would want them to know or hear?
Oh man. I mean, the Lakers is like the historical big enemy, but the Suns were mad annoying for 3 years.
The Suns fans were fucking ridiculous.
The Suns weren't that, man. They never were. They skipped steps. Had we been healthy, they would have never made the finals. Like, that's what I want them to know. That Jamal Murray would have fucking helped, bro.
Yeah.
The guy averaging almost 30 points didn't matter. Whatever. Oh, yeah. I agree, man. That was goddamn. Going down, getting swept in that series was like, that shit was the pain of, that was like the epitome of suffering.
I was at game 4. I was at game 4 in that series. It was a painful game to be at.
The Suns fan last year, they traveled well, man. There was a lot of Suns fans here. That shit was annoying as fuck. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same people that are Nuggets fans right now, bro.
Nuggets follow train were Suns fans last year.
Hop on that bandwagon.
Yeah. Now there's a million Nuggets fans on Twitter. I don't know where the hell all
Yeah.
these people came from.
Man,
Dude, it's crazy.
out of
Even on
nowhere.
Reddit too.
Oh yeah, on Reddit too, huh? There's all kinds of people on there. I never
Dude, we
fucking
gained.
knew before.
I think the Nuggets subreddit gained like 45,000 followers since the playoffs started.
Ah, damn, bro.
My wife is one of
Yeah.
them.
He said my wife as well, huh?
So. Yeah.
That's
She's
tight
one of
though.
the Reddit people that she recently followed the page. So she's like throwing stuff at me, like I'm trying to hit her with something that like cool Jokic stat or a Nugget stat, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that on Reddit earlier." I'm like, "All right, this is gonna take some getting used to, you know."
Dude, Nuggets Reddit is crazy, bro. They have some crazy stuff on there. People
Yeah.
will like the memes will be like immediately like the game the end like the game will end and they'll just be like flooded with memes or like crazy ass stats. So like I'm like, how did you know this stat was gonna be like this? You had to have researched this in like the third quarter to find this or something, you know? And like like I don't know how the hell they do it. Like coupon user and shit. Like I don't
Dude,
understand
that
how this
guy's
guy does
crazy
that.
smart.
That dude is smart.
Hey, I don't blame
That
him.
Dude knows
knows.
ball.
Like
Yeah.
someone asked me on Twitter, is like, do you watch basketball with a calculator in your hand? Like, and of course I don't. Of course I don't. But like during the game, I'm on Basketball Reference and StatHead, just looking up different quarters and stat lines that Murray had or Jokic had. I just like comparing stuff. Like, has this happened before?
Yeah.
And I had a tweet that I sent out about Embiid winning the MVP, and despite not leading the league in like these 5 advanced stats, and boy did that piss a lot of people off. But I just like finding different trends and stuff like that. Like that stuff's cool. Like
That's tight.
so yeah, big props to anybody that digs really into it.
Yeah. What's a form of like what is your guys' favorite like form of media that you like intake for these guys? Like do you guys like I know most people like 99% of the people in the city now are like DMVR, but like is there any other ones? Or like even like stat,
Nugget
the stat stuff
specific
that you
or
guys know.
or just basketball or
Just anything, yeah, anything hoops that you
um
know. What's your favorite thing?
so DNVR, I like their fan reporter aspect that they bring to it. Um,
Yeah.
so that's really nice. I really like the old man the 3 with JJ Redick. Like just the way he thinks the game is pretty incredible. Um, Steve Jones on Twitter. I don't know if you guys follow him, but he does like literally not play by play, but like things that stick out
Little
from the
breakdowns
from the
and
dunker
stuff, huh?
spot. Yeah, so I've learned a lot just scrolling through his threads on just specific games throughout the season. And I feel like I'm missing one.
Thinking basketball, that one's always
Yeah,
good.
that's the one. Yeah, like with it's like
Uh,
Ben Taylor.
Ben
I think
Taylor.
it's
Ben Taylor,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. Like when I see something pop up on YouTube for him, I'm tapping in right away because like he's so quick with it. Like it's stuff that you didn't even notice, and he just
Mhm.
points out, these different adjustments or things that happen and like things that happen on the offensive end that led to a disadvantage on the defensive end for that team. Like, Jimmy Butler forcing the switch, getting Aaron Gordon off of him, which led to a mismatch for Aaron Gordon with Martin on him or Vincent down in the post in that first quarter. Because watching the game, you don't really, you see the offensive possession and the play goes down to the other end. You're like, how is Gabe Vincent on Aaron Gordon? But it happened 20 seconds ago. But so just the way some of those guys break down the game is just, you know, if I can get to that level, that'd be cool.
That would be cool, man.
Shit, sounds like you're almost there, brother. Sounds like you're there already. Shit.
I mean, I watch a lot of basketball. I'm
Yeah.
like I consume so much at most levels. I used to put together highlight tapes and stuff for players, so I sit and watch film. That's just one of my things, as a job and just for fun.
Yeah. What about you, Steven? What do you like to intake as far as Nugget content?
I mean, I go thinking basketball usually is my main one. Whenever they drop any Nugget stuff, I follow it. I don't listen to many podcasts though, just because I don't have that type of attention span.
Was there anything that worried you guys when this team was being built? Like when they were starting to build it up, like when it was I I was gonna ask that question a while ago, but we got into all the other stuff. But like,
Um,
was there any aspects of it that kind of worried you?
yeah. teams putting the Jokic in the pick and roll for a full playoff game worried me all
I'm
year
gonna have to
long.
edit this out, bro. They're gonna fucking clip that. You know that shit's gonna get clipped, dog. You're about to get. I'm about to see this video all over 76ers fucking Twitter, man.
Nah, I'm
Like,
definitely.
oh yeah, see, we gotta put him in the pick and roll.
Nah, I'm trolling on that. Nah, to be honest, when the KCP trade happened, and then the Bruce Brown signing happened, drafting Christian Brown, like just ironing out the surrounding pieces. I honestly wasn't worried. Like I didn't think, I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is a championship year, but I was at the point where if Denver was to lose this year, it would be to a team that was just better than they were. It wasn't because of an inefficiency of Jokic on defense or Jamal Murray going cold. It'll just be that team. It was just their year that year. So I don't think I was worried once I saw this roster going into this season in comparison to how close that 5-game series was with Golden State last year. Like that series could have went 6. Had a particular player not heaved up a 3 with Jokic with Klay Thompson on him. Who knows how that series could have turned out. So I wasn't worried.
What about you, Steven?
Well, I wasn't too worried. I mean, once I saw him play, once I saw him starting to gel, then it was like, okay, this is the team. But yeah, no, I wasn't too concerned. I thought we ironed out the defensive issues that we had with the perimeter defenders, again, KCP and Bruce to just hound dudes all game. So yeah, once we got that, it's like we're in the West. You got to have guard defense. You can't play in the West without being able to guard guards. So once we got those guys, I was like, okay, it's on.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking last year, like when they were, remember they were talking about bringing Jamal back for the playoffs, and I was like, dude, you really want to bring back Jamal? Like, we're trying to recover him in the playoffs against like dudes like Ja and Steph and Chris Paul and like all these fucking guards we have in the West. And like, that's a tall fucking task, man. That made me nervous, but
I think they did it right, bro.
Yeah, made the right choice. Maybe we
Like-
have to
like
suffer
the-
a little longer, but
Like what I was concerned about, well, there's two things. Like I didn't have too much confidence in MPJ just because of his injury. Like if anything was going to derail this season, I thought in the beginning was going to be injuries, and not knowing exactly where Jamal Murray would be and stuff like that. But shout outs to Calvin Booth for because he knows how Michael Malone is, and that was another big concern for me was Michael Malone, just because he's such a like old school coach in a way of like where he doesn't like to deviate from what he knows too much. But Calvin Booth really, because Mike Malone uses veterans. He loves veterans. And Calvin Booth surrounded him with good veterans that Mike Malone could trust, you know what I mean, to do what they need to do. And, we got rid of a lot of, question pieces and put in, sure things, in KCP and Bruce Brown. And, it's kind of the players that we brought in this offseason. And, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. And a lot of questions were answered. Like MPJ, he's such a big part of this team, and he's bought into playing defense and rebounding and all the stuff that people said he couldn't do. And I don't know, it's amazing. It's crazy to see. It's amazing to watch, and I'm glad we get to witness this, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, do you guys think that's the best story of the season? Is the MPJ turnaround, or do you think it's the Jamal comeback? Or
I think it's got to be MPJ personally. I think it's got to be because he's shown things that like he's never shown us before. Whereas like Jamal, we've seen it before, we know who Jamal is once he's healthy, I mean, he's improved a little bit. Jamal has added to his passing game and game 1 defensively was probably one of the best games I've ever seen Jamal play on the defensive end.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing Mike learn to trust his body again and really start to put that effort in on the defensive end and watch him start to actually be able to drive to the hoop. Like, it's been crazy. I never thought I'd see that.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to say Michael Porter is probably the biggest story this year. And like game 1, that was one of the best games I've seen him play. And you go back and look, he only made 2 threes out of 11, And usually when you think a good MPJ game, you would think like, 5 or 6 made threes, 1 or 2 blocks, 8 rebounds. But like he had 14 points. 12 rebounds and had a horrible night behind the 3-point line. So that just shows like the growth. So yeah, I would definitely agree. MPJ is
Yeah. Like what Steven was saying is you don't see like it's so rare to see a turnaround like before I would say MPJ played kind of like Will Barr and J.R. Smith-esque, like where he was really selfish and just wanted to put his points up, you know. But for him to completely turn around and buy into his teammates, buy in, like because defense, as you know, is it's all about effort. You know what I mean? That's what defense is. You have to have the heart for it, and for him to find that heart, and I think him just kind of sitting out and realizing what he's missing out on and what this team is missing out missing out on when he's not there. For him to do that, and it takes a lot of maturity, man, and a lot of just self work. It's tight. It's crazy to see.
Yeah, that's what I said that to somebody the other day about MPJ, like the exact same point. It's just to when somebody has a back surgery and it can take away something that you love so much, like that's one thing about MPJ is like that dude, he loves basketball. Like he loves hooping. So like I'm sure something, even as young as he is, something like that can shake you to your core and like really make you more mature, like quick, that's a life experience that really can change your whole aspect on life. So I'm sure, being that close to losing, the career that you wanted to do your whole life, that you practice your whole life for, like that shit's got to be crazy, man. Like I couldn't imagine being that close to never being able to do what I love again. I would just, so props to MPJ, bro. And Jokic too, man. Like Jokic's influence on him to learn how to impact winning without having to just score, like you have the ultimate role model in the locker next to you, like that's such a fucking cool, like we were so lucky that we got a superstar like that you can bring the Michael Porter Jr. into the locker room and learn from this guy, like you could take any talent in the world now. Like you could take, I don't know, who's like a notoriously like selfish, like, I don't know, maybe like a Brandon Jennings type player, I'm not saying
Kyrie.
Yeah, something like that, if you had brought him in, like, who knows how he would have been by now,
Yeah.
For real though, like
I don't know.
who knows if he would have came in as a rookie to Denver. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
I think when they won the finals that year, I think LeBron had him, man. Kyrie was Batman, and that's in that run, man.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to disagree on that one.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing with Kyrie though, that he was not afraid to take all the big shots that LeBron.
Yeah,
was
that's
true.
true.
To take.
I think like LeBron is a high floor player, and Kyrie is a high ceiling player. So LeBron getting them to that point was just perfect for Kyrie to just finish off those moments. Since leaving LeBron, it's not as good as people would think, and he's missed so much time that the team records look better than what they actually are when he's out of the lineup. So
like I think LeBron's always needed someone to take that, except for this last championship that he won with LA during the bubble year. He's always needed someone else to take the last shot for him. You know what I mean? Like he needed Dwayne Wade and Ray Allen back in Miami. He needed Kyrie that series. He's always kind of needed someone to take that shot because he was, he never took it.
I mean, he's a playmaker.
Yeah, he's made a few though.
Yeah.
He's made a bunch.
Yeah,
himself.
I think he's
a
way more
playmaker at heart.
now. Yeah, for sure.
That's the craziest thing to me about LeBron is that he really is like he's a playmaker at heart. He's a guy that wants to be able to involve people and stuff like that, and he's the fucking scoring champion. Like that.
His passes are crazy too, bro. His court vision is insane.
Yeah. Like I got a lot of respect for that dude. I don't know. Where do you guys have him on your all-time list? Like
2.
1.
Like I think he's.
I got him. I got him 1. I got him 1
you guys
personally.
got him
Yeah. I mean, but I value playmakers more than I value scores. So like,
you're a Tim Duncan guy,
it really comes down to what you value. Like,
that's true.
If somebody asked me, like, if you want to say all time, all inclusive, like everything, LeBron's won. If you want to say like a 5-year peak, or if you want to put it in a box a certain time, like which player was unstoppable for 5 to 6 years or 5 to 7 years, I would go Michael Jordan. Like, him in the 90s, like that's incredible. But what LeBron's been able to do since I was in the 5th grade, and
That's
Right.
I turned 30 next week. Like that's like I got to give it to LeBron. And he's running to the Golden State Warriors. Like that's the only thing that kept him from 7 rings, and that and a Kyrie Irving broken kneecap, Kevin Love dislocated shoulder. Like injuries happen every year, but LeBron could be sitting on 7 or 8 championships if things broke right for him a little
I
more
mean, he
often.
also had to face up against the beautiful game Spurs. Like
Right,
one
exactly.
of the best examples of team basketball the league has ever seen is what he had to
Right.
face. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the greatest. Like he might be in all sports, he might be the greatest at like as far as athleticism goes. I've never seen anyone like LeBron James. How big, fast, and especially how durable he is. Like to be able to do that for 20 years, that is crazy with
no
no major
major
injuries.
injuries. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
crazy.
insane, bro. But like the thing with Michael Jordan is like his perfection. You know what I mean? That's what I see when I look at Michael Jordan, is especially like with his finals. Like that's one thing that I'm looking at with Jokic. Like, say Jokic wins, let's say 3 or 4 rings, but he averages a triple double in the rings, and he goes 4-0 as far as finals goes. Is he up there like in that conversation with like Michael Jordan and LeBron, and you know what I mean?
I think it's so hard to go, as time goes on, it'll be so hard to remove players from the top 5 and whatnot. But I think Jokic on this trajectory he's on now, and like you said, if he goes 4-0 with the numbers he's putting up, I think he can slot himself in like the 6 to 8 range all time. And that's where I would put him at. It's so like he would have to win, he would have to get to 5 just to be, because there's Kobe, Tim
Yeah.
Duncan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Jordan. So there's so many players that are in that top 10 range that have 5 and were big parts of those 5 rings. So I think if he can get 4 to 5, yeah, you
A
couldn't
triple
talk.
double.
Yeah, you couldn't talk me. You couldn't put him anywhere lower than 8.
Yeah.
That'll probably be me on Twitter as a 40-year-old, just going in on Jokic being a top 8 player all the time. That'd be like my next agenda to push.
Like assume he wins this finals, bro. Where do you have him right now? Is he better than like Giannis, or is he better than like where is he at now? Assuming he wins.
um, like right now, I have him all time. I have him top 40 right now, even if he doesn't win this year. Just off the numbers, back-to-back MVPs, this 3-year peak compared to, the greats is like, unseen, for the most part, unless you want to throw Wilt in there because Wilt was a cheat code.
Yeah.
So if he wins it this year, I think he jumps up 20 to 25 all time. Because it's the first one for Denver. No one said he can do it. The complete turnaround on the general consensus of Nikola Jokic. Like this one's like monumental. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
rings ain't created equal. Like it's harder to do it in Denver than it is in like LA, just because like we don't get the free, like what is our biggest free agent signing is what, Paul Millsap.
Paul Millsap.
Like I
32
love
years
Paul
old.
Millsap. I love Paul Millsap, but like old Paul Millsap, that's our best free agent signing. That's
Hey, we
tough
shot
to
our shot
win.
at Dwayne Wade.
He
LeBron
loved
too.
us. He loved the city
Oh,
of
yeah,
Denver. That was
LeBron's
about
good
it.
You
Yeah.
got to shoot your shots, man. Yeah, I
like
agree, man.
and that's why LeBron's ring in Cleveland. Like, the reason why I have him number 1 all time. Like, yeah, Jordan won 4 with Chicago, 6 with Chicago. And I don't think they had anything before that, but just that team, Scotty and like the surrounding pieces, he should have won those rings. That's how I look at it. That year with Cleveland down 3-1, Cleveland's never won before. Like,
Yeah.
that one means
Crazy.
more than that single ring means more than any single ring Jordan got, in my opinion. Like, it's all subjective, but like that was incredible. And I think Jokic's ring this year would be in talks of like that level for what LeBron did for
It's
Cleveland.
gonna be a heavy ring, brother. It's gonna be hard for him
Yeah.
to lift up his hand. I'll tell you that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm sorry for interrupting the broadcast, but I had to get your quick attention, all right? I got a homie. He makes these wonderful shirts. If you like this shirt I got going on, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray as the White Man Can't Jump cover. When I saw this, I was like, I got to have that. So to get yours, you got to go to Lurk Designs, all right? That's lurkdesigns.bigcartel.com. Check out some of his work, man. I'm telling you, he makes the best graphics. And on top of that, the T-shirts are super comfortable. They're a great fit. Go check him out right now. I'm telling you. As soon as you're done with this podcast, go get you some Lurk, man, because you ain't right without it.
Jamal, when he's on, is one of the most electric players in the league. He's so
Crazy.
smooth. Everything he does is so smooth. Like,
And he hits them wild shots, crazy
dude,
shots. It hits
his
nothing but
post
net,
game
man.
is so nice. I love watching him in the
That
post,
is so
especially now that I'm
underrated.
getting older and like I have to pick up my own post game because I can't just be out athleting dudes anymore. You know?
Yeah, I understand
Like,
that.
yeah, so you start getting older, you gotta start picking up. Man, watching Jamal in the post, you just learn so much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like he definitely reminds me of like early 2000s ball, like where where you're shooting guards like Kobe and Tracy McGrady, like well they'll back you down, you know what I mean? They're also athletic, could drive the lane, they can hit from anywhere, hit those mid rangers. He's definitely like a throwback, I think, in the way he plays, man.
His footwork
Yeah, he's
is
got it
damn good, man.
more efficient from three than a throwback player, but yeah,
For sure.
definitely a lot of that same style.
Yeah.
Built for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
his footwork is just so goddamn good, and like when he even does footwork on the 3-point line and shit, like his little step backs, he'll pick it up, like how he did that little bounce pass to Yoke, that he like did a pump fake and the dude flew by him, he just did that crazy little fucking crazy ass bounce pass to Yoke real quick. Well, he's been doing that like the past couple games, and he'll just like spin around, step all over the place, and it's like, damn, dude, he's just he's good ass
The way
footwork.
he squares his body up every time. Because
So
like
fundamental.
when he leaves his feet, he's like facing like the coaching staff. And then by the time he lets the ball go, he's like straight on. His shoulders are square with the rim. Like the way he can just refocus right before he lets the ball go is like
acrobatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
for real.
crazy.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah, he's a crazy dude. Well, we're already talking. I'll use all that shit too. So let's just go. Please stop.
Just keep talking.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, because you were talking about your game. How would you compare your guys' games, like when you go play? If you had to compare them to another player.
For me, I would say like Chris Middleton. Is the way that I play. I'm a very
solid, good, look pretty good at everything.
Like just try to do what I can at all three levels. I'm horrible from the mid range, but just I've been called Chris Middleton so many times on the court. It's crazy. I'm a pretty good shooter, but I just love getting to the rim and finishing. So, but I've heard that a lot. So I would say Chris Middleton.
Okay. What about you, Steven?
I mean, younger me was more Russell Westbrook. Like that's what everybody always comped me. That's what I played. Like I just had an incredible motor and
balls to the wall.
I mean, I'm 5'9" and I've dunked it. Like, so I was athletic for sure. Like just motor and athleticism.
All right. Yeah, that's good. I can see that. Yeah.
That's tight.
Nowadays though, I'm more of an Andre Miller. Like I'm trying to get in the post. I'm trying to get in the post. I'm trying to, dude. If I don't have to leave the ground, I'm not. Like,
there you go.
Yeah, I haven't hit that point yet. I'm, when I go to LA Fitness or whatnot, I'm still trying to catch a body and try to put somebody in the rim.
Oh man, I can't anymore. I've got too many injuries. Too many injuries.
I'm gonna do it until I can't anymore. And
how tall are you, Wade?
6'3".
Okay.
Damn.
So you be dunking and shit.
Oh yeah. I got a few clips. I haven't posted in a while, but yeah, I can do some pretty cool stuff.
Well, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a hooper.
Genetic lottery over here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like people tell me watch ball and stuff. I'm like yeah, I played a game. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got two brothers that play ball overseas and professionally. Like I've been around the sport, and
Hmm.
so when I tell you Jokic is the best player in basketball, like you know,
He's like, I know
Has
what the fuck I'm
substance to
talking
it.
about.
I know what I'm talking about. Trust me.
Oh yeah, that's dope. All right. So the first round we played Minnesota.
Toughest matchup so far.
Yep.
What you think that was the best one?
Yeah, yeah. They played us the best, I think, for sure.
Yeah. I think I might have to agree with that because that's what I'm trying to figure out that actually currently is like,
I mean, so like if you go by like games played, you'd say, oh, Suns took it to 6, but dude, it took Devin Booker playing like fucking prime Michael Jordan for 2 games to get those 2 on us.
Right.
Like he was playing generational ball for 2 games to get 2 wins. Like I don't know. And then like Minnesota didn't really have anybody. I mean, Ant played to the level that Ant can play.
yeah,
Like, and they took it 5, and every game was tight except for game 1.
Yeah.
you could really tell the familiarity between the teams in that series. It was like the Lakers. It kind of seemed like they didn't really know anything about Denver, and Phoenix didn't really know anything too much. Like it seemed like they didn't really scout them too much or anything. But like for some, it felt like Minnesota really understood what bothers Jokic. A lot of experience with that stuff.
Well, you also got to take into account Lakers and Phoenix. Like they revamped right like at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
So their chemistry wasn't all there yet either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a good point. But yeah, were there any like big moments from that series you guys remember, or big takeaways from it? I just remember Nikhil Alexander Walker being like the main storyline of that shit. For so
Dude,
long.
he was a hound on Jamal.
He's good,
man.
huh? I was surprised, bro.
He can defend.
He can defend his ass off. That kid is fucking good, man.
Yeah, he had
Jamal.
Jamal.
He was league, wasn't he? Because he got cut by New Orleans, didn't he? Or did they trade him there?
I think it was part of a trade.
He was in a trade.
Yeah,
he's good, man. I don't remember him in New Orleans at all. Like, I remember thinking, like, I don't think I've ever seen this kid play. Like, I've heard of him and stuff, and I've,
yeah, the name's familiar, but
yeah,
man,
I know the
can,
name, but like, I don't remember seeing him play. He's fucking good. He's a good defender, man.
Like that's what. Remember, I had to ask you. I was like, "Who the hell is that guy? That guy is doing some shit."
Yeah, and I just remember he played for New Orleans. That's why I was like, I didn't even know he played on Minnesota. I remember him playing on Minnesota when we played them, but like, I don't think he even played then, did he? In our regular season games against them?
I had no idea. I didn't even know who the fuck that guy was until that series.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, like I knew who he was, but yeah, that series changed my mind about him, or developed an opinion about him. I didn't know enough about him to have an opinion on him, but that series, I'm like, game 1, I'm like, who does this guy think he is? Like, it kind of reminded me of the guy for Milwaukee, the backup point guard that always picks up full court in the regular season, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah. It's just like, and that's how I looked at it in game 1. I'm like,
that dude. He's spunky.
This isn't going to work. This is Jamal Murray. But yeah, that guy can play some defense.
Yeah.
The only thing I can remember from that series is Jokic had the big game that they lost. It seemed like every time the Nuggets lost, even in the Phoenix series, like Jokic would go for 40 something and they lose. So I remember, that in the 12-point comeback to put the game into overtime.
Is that when he had that Jokic when he lost? Is that when he had that turnover at the end? He missed that free throw and shit.
Yep, he had missed the free throw that could have put him up like 97.
I think he had a key turnover too there at the end.
Yeah. So it was and everybody just ignored the fact that he had like an assist on the MPJ threes on both of those, and he hit a 3 himself. Like they shouldn't even have been in that position to even put that game in overtime. But people and their agendas.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Sure.
Anthony Edwards too, dude. He deserves a lot of credit, man.
He's a problem, man.
He's gonna be.
He's relentless.
Yeah.
Zero quitting him.
Yeah, I kind of
I respect it.
I was real high on him in his first year when he came out of the draft and stuff. I thought he was going to be really good because like I seen him play at Georgia every now and then, and he's good. But then like I kind of started like falling down. I was like, because like I just didn't think he had. I don't know, just like you know how some like superstars they have that just like they're different. You know, I just didn't think he had that. I was like, because he was so inconsistent. Like sometimes he wouldn't do much and like he'd just disappear and stuff. And it was like, well, if you're really like the best player on your team, you don't disappear like completely. You don't forget that you're actually playing the game. And so I was like kind of falling off on it, but that playoffs turned it back around, man. Like I really like.
Well, the question about him was always it's never his talent, it's his effort. You know, I mean, there's times when he would just quit. You know, what I mean, and wouldn't try. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But when he's on, man, he's on. He's crazy to watch.
How what draft was he? He's third year now.
He was the LaMelo year, right? Because LaMelo was the second pick. He was the first pick. So this is his third year.
Third year, right? So it was him, and then Cade, and then Paolo. The last three first round pick or first.
Yeah.
Out of those three, who would you guys take?
Give me Anthony.
Yeah,
but it's.
I mean, it's hard to say right now.
Early because
I love Paolo, bro. I flipped on.
I like Paolo too.
I love
his second half of the season. You can really see the player that he has the potential to become.
That's true.
So it's a little too early to call it, and plus, Anthony Edwards has a couple playoff series under his belt now, so
that's true.
So time is on his side as it stands, but yeah, Cade is definitely a third out of the three, but he also had the injury, so.
He's also in Detroit, man. Like,
dude, remember his big game against us?
I guess you could say the same about Paolo in Orlando.
Dude, I love Paolo because I'm a UNC fan, and I hated Paolo at Duke. Like I was like, nah, this guy's trash. He ain't tight. He ain't good. Fuck Paolo. And he's Magic. I watched so many Magic games this year. I like Magic are probably like my second favorite team after the Nuggets right now because like. Every time I watched them, they were like entertaining. Like even the game against us, like, they put a hell of a game against us. And like,
dude, Utah before they tanked were really fun to watch.
They were,
yeah.
Utah was Mitchell's crazy, man. I watched a lot of Cleveland too. Garland is fucking crazy too, man.
After Mitchell, this year Utah before they started tanking.
Oh, what Markkinen?
Yeah.
I didn't watch them too much, honestly. I didn't know.
Oh, they were fun, man. They remind me of the like kind of like the 13 Nuggets where we got the 57 wins. They kind of remind me where they're just kind of plucky underdogs, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they beat Denver in the season opener by 20.
Yeah. Vanderbilt fucking
it worked, man.
And it was so funny because like I saw you see all the responses and the different tweets and whatnot, and then the Jazz went on to beat like all these other teams or these fan bases that were giving big stuff about the Nuggets, and it was like
crazy.
It's like the Jazz got hands for real.
Yeah,
that's out here catching people and shit.
I thought they were gonna be good, bro. I thought they were gonna be a problem going forward, but kind of sizzled out there.
I mean, they kind of blew it up so they could tank
and whatnot. Yeah, like you don't want to waste
for sure.
You want to maximize the rebuild, so they kind of wanted to go shoot for the lottery. But Laurie, I have a take, and I've seen it a couple of times, but Laurie kind of, this player he was this year, gives me like a glimpse of what I picture Porter Jr. being when he's fully healthy. Because he's still rehabbing right now. But the type of player that Laurie was for Utah, like I can see that for MPJ. Like they have the same size, same build.
If he had that role on a team,
Yeah. I mean, but even still, like I think there's more room for MPJ to grow even within this Nuggets roster, even with Murray and Jokic 2-man game. Like there's, he gets iced out a lot still.
Mm-hmm.
So when they fully unlock him and then he gets to full strength with this summer, with a full summer to work on his game instead of rehabbing. Yeah, like going into next year and they have 2 years left with the starting five. Man, I'm excited.
Hey, so what moves do you expect for Denver to make after this year? Like any notable pieces going to be gone, or like what's going to happen?
I mean, I sent out a Bruce Brown tweet yesterday.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Jumped down my throat on that one.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a realization. Like I didn't want it to be a negative thing. It's just horrible timing. In the middle of the finals, you just reminding people
I
of what's
said,
to
you
come.
son of a bitch.
So, yeah,
Couldn't have waited for 2 weeks to say that
Yeah.
shit.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
Come
I
on,
saw-
man. I want
saw
to be
the
sad
tweet.
right now.
I saw the tweet. He was like, "What's the hard pill?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "This is it." And I just tweet. I thought it was just gonna be one of those like 2 people respond, 4 likes, like yeah, nobody's.
It's
That thing
always
just
those.
has like 100
Always those that
replies. I'm like,
everybody
what
sees.
the hell? But yeah, Bruce Brown's gone. And it sucks. I love Bruce Brown. He's not coming. He's not going to be back next year. I think it's like 90.
Yeah, I'm a root for him wherever he goes, though. I
Yeah,
love
me
Bruce.
He's
He's so
cool.
much fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's sick.
I think Denver will probably bring in another 2 guard. Like I don't even know what the free agency looks like this summer, but I like Colin Gillespie. He can fill a Monte Morris role for the regular season next year, but when the playoffs come, they stagger Murray and Jokic, so we really don't need a point guard like what Bruce Brown has given us in the point guard role. So I think if they find a defensive-minded 2 that can shoot 32% from 3 or whatever Bruce Brown is at, I think they'll be fine. KCP's, yeah. So this summer, I don't think it's going to be much movement, especially if they, if they finish this series off, because now everybody has to adjust to what we're doing.
Damn, we're doing for sure. Like I've always thought, like, well, we're great as it is, but I would like a banger, like kind of what DeAndre Jordan was when he was younger. You know what I mean? Like I want a banger as far as a big man goes, someone that you could put in there to bully those other big men. Because like there's times throughout the season where we would just let teams get offensive rebound after offensive rebound. You know,
Dude, that Boston game where what's that little white dude's name? He got like 4 rebounds on one possession.
Oh, the little guy.
That shit pissed me off.
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard.
God, dude, that possession, that one possession took like 3 years off my life.
Yeah. It's like eating hot dogs.
Cigarettes, watching Pritchard get rebounds. I was like, God damn it, somebody get this one.
I hated that shit, bro. And like, luckily that problem hasn't reared its head in these playoffs. But like, that was another thing of concern going into the playoffs. I'm like, fuck, I hope these guys box out and shit, because like that's annoying as fuck to watch, man.
Yeah. Their focus is
regular season ball don't really matter, dude.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm learning. Yeah, how much, especially this year,
the effort level changes so much in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's what
intensity
everybody
ramps up, man.
I think that's what everybody misinterpreted at the how we ended our season is just everybody.
We didn't try.
Yeah, everybody jumped off, and it was like so obvious. Like if you watched, it was
Bro,
obvious.
I watched every game. I don't know why I did. Like none of that shit mattered.
I kept putting myself through it, man. And then you get the people pulling receipts on me, and I'm like bro, just stop. Because Jokic lost the MVP, and everybody just like, what do you got to say now? I'm just like, leave me alone, man.
That shit sucked. I wasn't on Twitter for a couple of days when that shit happened. I was like, nah, I know people are talking shit.
Yeah, because he lost to Houston, like I think Houston and San Antonio. I'm just like, all right, man, I'm out. I'm out, bro. Sixers having a field day in my replies. Like nobody ever sees it because I don't reply. I just read it, and I'm like, I'm just annoyed. So and I'm just sitting there watching the games. I'm like, yeah, I got to stop putting myself through this.
I remember when
we won in the long run.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I had the field day I had when.
That's why you got so many receipts.
So many receipts from May or from what was it, like the end of March through like the end of April. There was just so many, because like the MVP announcement happened, and then the Sixers lost, and all the way up prior, because people were saying like not only was Embiid the MVP, they were also saying he was better than Jokic. I'm like, there's 2 separate conversations here. Like, don't say anything you're going to regret.
Yeah,
he can have it. He's not better than Jokic. So,
bro, they are hanging that 47-point banner in their fucking stadium right now, dog. That's all they want. Anytime you say anything, that's all I see is, oh, well, remember Embiid had 47?
We beat him in January.
Philadelphia. Good job.
Congrats.
That was your NBA Finals right there. Good job.
Like I was hoping that Philadelphia would rise to the occasion so we could see him and Yoke, in the finals, man.
Not me.
You want him to get snuff that flame out back in the day.
Yeah, 'cause like don't get me wrong, like Embiid versus Jokic in the finals, that would be must see TV. It's been hyped up, the MVPs. You know, I think Jokic would wash the Sixers. You know,
For sure.
because he didn't care in that Sixers game. He played a regular season game against the Eastern Conference opponent. Like, and then people Nuggets fans got mad at me because I said Jokic knows when to really turn it on, and there were Nuggets fans was like, Nuggets have never won a championship. Like, time is ticking. I'm like, bro, like, it's January.
28.
Yeah, like,
and he's 28. Like, what are we talking about here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for my agenda and like me being a hater for Embiid to not even make it there was what I was pulling for.
That's real hate. That's real hatred.
God damn. You got that.
I had a guy who was like, I will pay you $500 to not tweet about Embiid for 24 hours. I'm like, no amount of money would stop me from being a hater. This is what I do. I'm sorry.
Bro, when they were down with because they were down by 15, almost 20, weren't they? When there was a few minutes left in that Boston game for their game 7.
Oh yeah, they were good.
It was over before the game was over.
Yeah, dude, I was sitting there I even tweeted, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, get your Embiid slander going. Like, get it ready. This shit is happening. This motherfucker about to get knocked out again.
That was a generational day. Holy shit.
I was zooming on the way home to get to my receipts, man. I gained 200 followers that day. It was crazy.
I it's gonna be interesting to see the narrative behind Embiid next year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you could defend him, man. I don't know how you could defend him from this point. I mean, he's a great player and stuff, but he's not Jokic, man.
Yeah, he's in that Harden boat.
The whole world knows that.
Like, he has a label on him now, and everything he does, we're all going to just roll our eyes at it in the regular season. Like, Harden, 60-point triple-double. Oh, cool.
Who gives a shit, huh?
Big deal. Like, that's Embiid next season and for the next few seasons until he has a big run. Like,
you can't win like that, man.
Round, man. Like all of the discussions and
you can. I think you win like that.
I think he just has to be the second option,
man.
He needs a real ball handler with him.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, he can't.
If he could, he's a play finisher. Like, that's what Embiid is. He's arguably one of the best play finishers in the game. But a play finisher still needs a guy to get him the ball in his spots.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when teams take away those initial spots, you got to have more to where else can you get the ball to be dominant?
How else can you impact the game? You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get to your spots, like, how are you going to make someone else get to their spot? You know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that. And he doesn't have that in his repertoire right now. You know what I mean?
I don't think he has it in his personality, honestly. Like, I don't think he thinks like that. I don't think he's like, well, how do I get PJ Tucker a good shot here? How do I help Maxey get his right now and shit like that? I think he's always like, I have to do this. I have to finish this. It's everything's on me. Kind of seems like he's always frantic like that.
Yeah. And even how he responds once they're eliminated, he doesn't even see the fact that he's saying his teammates didn't do this, but it's the first step is you trying to realize what you can do to make sure your teammates are doing what they're supposed to do. And he hasn't gotten to that point yet. So if it hasn't happened off the court, it'll happen next year.
I mean, he's had great teams, man. He's had talent around him. You know what I mean?
Crazy
there's
talent.
No excuses for him, man.
He's had MVPs, all-stars, great players on his team.
Great players.
I mean, and look, Jokic doesn't have a single all-star.
Yeah.
That's always hard.
I mean,
he should. He does.
For agenda purposes, no all-star.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I respect Jamal Murray. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
But
Aaron Gordon
too, man.
Oh, Aaron Gordon was an all-star this year. If Wiggins was an all-star last year,
as a starter,
the starter, Aaron Gordon.
I mean, look at all the Lakers that made the fucking all-star game. That's how you could tell. It's it's
Austin
not
Reeves made the all-star game, brother.
The fan vote.
Man.
Yeah, they have to get rid of the fan vote. But then the player vote. Actually, the player vote was good this year.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad. Yeah, that fan vote, that shit had Yao Ming making fucking playoff all-star appearances since, until
Yeah,
2 years ago and shit.
I think they should like adjust like the fan voting. Like you have to put in like your zip code or something, and each vote is weighted based on your population.
Yeah.
I think that'll make it more truthful because you got 4 teams in California. The population is crazy. I think a California vote, like treat it like the electoral college or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Make shit more even.
Yeah, like Denver's not going to compete with
And
LA.
we just don't have the people. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Serbia, like Sombor, that's a small town too, so it's not like China.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Ming, like they all got behind him. But Serbia it's not a big country, so
It's basically a province of a regular sized country when it was
Yeah.
Yugoslavia and shit. It's like
exactly, yeah.
it's not big.
So
Hey,
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
what are the chances that Jokic gets his ring and retires to his horses?
this year?
like this year,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
0.
yeah.
0.
Zero, you think he's coming back to running
0.
back? Oh yeah.
He's gonna
Five-
come
I
back. Are
can
you
see that.
kidding me, man? He wants to.
5%
He's
retired.
gonna play until he like doesn't feel like he
Can't play no
can.
more.
Like it still he doesn't feel like he can be a positive on the floor. I think it's like
Like one thing I've heard about Jokic is like everyone says that he doesn't have the passion or the fire for it, and I think like to be as great as Jokic is, he does have that fire and passion. He doesn't broadcast it like how a lot of big players will. But I think he loves to win. He loves to be the best. Like there is no back down in that dude. He is tough, and he does not like to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's competitive, man. He's got that
I
competitive
mean
fire.
we're seeing him celebrate on the court this postseason again. Finally,
Showing some emotion
Like-
and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have
I'm
a
just
take.
waiting for the blue arrow now, man. That shit's gonna happen.
I think this is Jokic's last contract. That's like a hot take of mine.
That's I see. I
I
can
can
see
see
that.
that
I don't think he extends or resigns. I think he takes this $50 million deal, whatever he's re-signed for, and I think it's 4 years left on it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I have a
That
weird
puts him
feeling
at
like, man,
32.
yeah, like what if he just doesn't come back after that?
I can see him going like doing like a year-to-year thing after it. Like
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, I still play, but I don't know how long."
Yeah. I gotta have an opt. I might even get tired of this shit in the middle of the season. Bring me back to the playoffs like Hawaii and shit.
Right.
Just get me there. I'll take us home. I'll get us another ring.
Living the dream.
Cool fort. Can I come up?
Depends. What's the password?
Mattress? Come on up.
Impressive, sir.
Take a Cheetos break with Cheetos.
Thank you guys for joining us today. I appreciate it. From the Box Day boys, from all of us, we thank you guys for joining for real. This is really fun. We're gonna have to do this again for sure. Jake, do you have a question of the week for people?
Yeah, we'll keep it with today's episode. What is your what's your favorite team?
All
What's
right.
your favorite basketball team?
All right. That sounds good. We'll get that posted as soon as this episode is out and aired. Thank you guys once again for real. Appreciate it. Jake, thank you for being you and having such a good ride here and enjoying this conversation.
Oh, hell yeah.
Host, thank you for being a great co-host, man. You're the best ever. You want to take us out of here?
Yeah, I want to thank these two gentlemen, these two Box Day boys right here for joining us and talking about our Denver Nuggets today. But as always, physical health is wealth, mental health is wealth. Love yourself and love the world around you, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.